Hello everyone. In this video, we will build a cabin for my friend and his family. We set ourselves a goal that this cabin is move-in ready by Christmas in about 4 months, which will be a challenge on its own. On top of it, we don't have a concrete plan to work with and everything's being designed on the fly. There's one advantage. We don't have to talk much about the footprint because this is a given by utilizing the existing structure. The future cabin is currently a RV shelter and hangout place for the whole family. It's going to need a bit of work to turn this into a somewhat comfortable living space. After installing these double ply 2x8 pressure treated beams, I had to remove about an inch at the bottom of that post in order for the rim joist to line up straight and square with the rest of the floor joists. After I established the final position, I finished the layout for the rest of the joist, cut them to length and installed them crown up. By nailing them in place first and installing the joist hanger after, because of substantial differences in lumber dimension. And I wanted the top to line up with the beams. To straighten out twisted joists, I nail the bottom in and then use a clamp as a lever to push the joist to my line and nail it in place. After that, we installed the joist hangers, but you want to be very careful not hitting your fingers. It usually hurts. Once that is finished, we are getting ready to install the subfloor. All the tools you really need is a chainsaw, a sledgehammer, and of course a fly swatter to nail the plywood down. But instead we are going to use a battery powered circular saw, a track saw, a caulking gun with subfloor adhesive, a square, a drill with a screw gun extension so we don't have to bend over, a measuring device, and my favorite, the sledgehammer. Oh, I forgot, you probably need a pencil or at least some sort of a marking tool. Now we are ready for framing. We are going to install 2x6 walls in between the existing posts and beams and nail everything together with lots and lots of nails. For some windows we already knew the exact location. For the windows, however, in the kitchen and the bedroom, I will cut out the openings later. It's not ideal, but hey, the layout hasn't been fully developed yet. Just in case someone is wondering, of course we have to double up the rafters in order to get a thicker layer of insulation in between. Here I am using my old trusted alpha square and a plumb stick to determine the slope of the roof or roof pitch, and then transfer this angle to the 2x6 secondary rafters, cut them to length, and install them by pushing the top end against the ridge beam and the bottom against the lower beam. Nail it in place for now and add structural screws later. Moving forward, framing in the gable wall, and then continue on to build the addition for kitchen and bathroom. As you can see, we already poured our little concrete pads. Now we are finishing our layout, drilling holes for rebar to connect the columns to the pads and fill our formwork, in this case sauna tubes, with concrete to the right height. Then we installed another laminated beam, joists with subfloor, and stood up a few more walls. One of them we struggled with because it was taller than the floor space we had available and it wanted to slide off the edge. Since we had a good breakfast, we managed. And finally covered everything up with a roof, cutting out the rafters to accommodate a joist hanger, which I think is more appropriate than just toe-nailing the rafter into the ridge board. After sheathing the roof, I used some self-adhesive roofing membrane just above the living space to water seal the roof and the room below, before adding metal roofing at a later time. We started stapling vapor barrier to the studs and nailing 1/2 inch 1GS plywood to the wall. 1GS stands for one good side, which means one side is sanded and knot holes are filled in. We didn't have time to wait around for the electrician, so they agreed to install all the wiring from the outside. So we moved on, working on the inside. We did, however, had to insulate the floor and build interior walls so the electrician could pull the wires through these walls as well. The reason behind this is also that the homeowners get started on finishing the cabin by staining the floor and walls, since there is no drywall being used in this cabin.
Because the window is so high, right?
It slides, this window slides.
I know.
In the meantime, the decision for the final layout was made, so I cut an opening into the framing for the kitchen window. In this case, I had to add a header above the window, which I didn't have to do for the bedroom window because the 6x6 beam is carrying the weight of the roof. Continue the wall sheeting and then cut out the window openings with a router and a flush cut bit.
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up. Look.
And here we are, as I mentioned earlier. We are using rigid foam insulation on the floor, sandwiched in between the subfloor and the finished plywood floor. Then we installed the interior walls on top of it and left one side open for the electrician. Now it was time for a little break, as we were waiting for the electrician to finish his job and the plumber was supposed to show up as well. Using this time, I showed my in-laws our beautiful west coast in the province of British Columbia, BC, which also stands for Bring Cash, well known by travel enthusiasts around the world. Now back to work. So the electricians finished their bit. Unfortunately, the plumber kept excusing himself for the 7th time. As you can imagine, he was fired since we were on a timeline and Christmas was approaching. Despite the hold up, we moved on and installed windows, which we picked up used in a neighboring town. We also installed insulation and building wrap on the outside. On the inside, we insulated the roof and started the install of a tongue and groove ceiling. It helps to cut these boards upside down so there is less tear out on the exposed side. I always start the install at the top of a vaulted ceiling. It is just so much easier to install the last board. Moving on, installing the rigid foam insulation and plywood flooring, making sure gluing everything together with the right adhesive. That's important so it doesn't melt the foam. Of course, the wood stove needs a non-combustible surface to stand on. Therefore, I cut out the floor again, prepped it, and built it up so that the tiles are flush with the finished plywood floor. We also used some leftover TNG pine boards to cover one of the gable walls and make it a feature wall. Now the inside was truly ready to move on to stain the walls and floors, assemble furniture and so on. Expecting a lot of rain in the fall motivated us to start outside with the addition of a couple covered decks.
Give me this. You gotta go to the gym.
Again, we hand mixed and poured some concrete like we did for the kitchen addition. Since we had to build 12 little footings, I brought my concrete mixer, which made things a little easier.
Double check measurements.
Measure twice,
Cut once.
Did you know that Home Depot sells their rental tools after a certain time to replace with new equipment? I found out and became a proud owner of this cement mixer for only $200. Cutting sonotubes again and double checking the height with the builder's level, which took a little longer than usual.
You're not supposed to lean on this.
Well, I don't even see the thing.
But
Do I have to move it?
you gotta adjust it.
Oh, okay.
There's the Kimmer and Korn on top. You see the top like a gun. At the very top. You look through that.
Okay.
Aim for the flipping stick. Then you turn the knob on the right. Yeah, wait, this one. You gotta look through it though. As you turn it.
There's 12 in there.
Yeah.
We also needed posts to support the patio roof. So a couple days later we went through his firewood pile and picked out some nice looking logs, cut the bottom to fit the post saddles and installed them. Then we needed beams for purlins, so he went and picked up 4 6x6 at 16 feet. At 16 feet, they were still not long enough for the whole length of the area we wanted to cover, so I figured I can show off my skills and cut a scarf joint on the ends and connected them this way. I also don't like to join beams on a post, it just doesn't look right. Well, stupid me, I forgot all my fancy carpenter tools, so all I had available at the time was my gas-powered chainsaw and a battery-powered circular saw. I call this hybrid woodworking at its best.
Robert,
What?
how did you get the beam up there?
Magic. What are you doing? There you go, that was it. Okay, stop.
It's my right that's bad. Okay, well, hang on. Okay, ready? Oh. I want it to look, it's cheap, rustic. Well, but not cheap inside.
Stand up.
So after installing the second roof, we still had to connect the roof over the deck to the roof over the bathroom and kitchen. This turned out to be a little trickier because we tried to reach maximum clearance from the deck to the beam and ended up 4 inches higher than the roof over the addition. Well, what do you expect? Building everything on the fly. So we put our mind to it and muscled through.
Oh, I see what you're trying to do, yeah.
You see that line there? Don't?
Yeah. Yep, you just popped it out.
Is that on this line here?
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. That cuts directly on the
watch your
line.
eyes.
Do you think that knot's going to be a problem on the edge there?
Well, we need to kind of, I have no idea how we're going to get it in.
Oh, just slide it in.
We're going to pound it in there somehow.
Yeah.
It's not pretty, but rare. So.
Perfect.
You hold it there.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's just one part.
One part, yeah. Hey, we're not taking it out now.
So you want to hook it in at the end,
At the end of the wood, right?
like so, yeah?
I know what you're thinking, and you're not wrong. There are better ways of installing that beam. One example would have been to push that post out of the way, lift in that beam and bring that post back to the original position. But you remember this guy? I didn't feel like pulling those nails out. And as it turned out, it doesn't look too shabby. My friend likes it, and that works for me.
No. Pretty Caroline, stone cold stunner. She was a winner, started working at the dime. Searches of her mind.
Hold it, hold it, hold it.
I'm in.
Okay, good.
I'm in.
Well, that is perfect fit.
That's going nowhere.
Doesn't look too shabby for a chainsaw, Masata.
Looks great. I don't like the red.
What red?
I just scraped the red off, that's all. You do one for each hole?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I need a,
Not much to say here. Installing metal roofing is fairly straightforward. Just do yourself a favor. Cut it upside down and use a metal saw blade. Not this nonsense with using a saw blade backwards. Moving forward with installing the actual deck by installing beams and joists, which we have done plenty on this build. Laying down 2x8 decking planks, which were either yellow cedar or Douglas fir. While he was finishing screwing down the decking planks, I moved back inside and started working on the trim around the windows, doors, baseboard and so forth. Also adding dark stained trim between the log posts, which is a nice contrast and reminds them of the original exposed beams. Back outside to install the board and batten siding with wood we found being stored at a sawmill for a long time and was sold for, let's say, very cheap. The thing I want to pay attention to with this type of board and batten siding, that each board is nailed individually and none of them nailed together or into each other. The first board I put on is nailed about 3/4 of an inch away from the edge. The batten is nailed into the strapping and not into the board below, so it can move individually as well. By moving I mean contract or expand, or in other words, increase or decrease in width caused by changing moisture content in the air. Here we have a quick peek on the inside, which takes shape slowly but surely, and I am getting ready to tile the bathroom by drilling holes for the toilet and shower drain. Believe it or not, a third plumber we hired to do the install for a tiny kitchen and bathroom got his bit done before Christmas. And I was able to finish the last wall with board and batten siding. We are still not 100% finished. Bits and pieces still have to be done to complete the cabin. The interior of the cabin is not for the public eye. I will respect the wish of the family and I leave it to the viewer and their imagination to fill the space.
What is this?
It's a joint hanger.
It's crooked like mosquitoes. Go away.
Apparently I have a flat tire.
Oh. Can you pump it out?
That's heavy for a wee little piece. The rafter's in the way. I have to take the rafter off.
Now you can.
Whoa, 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 whoa. No, he's not. He messed up and he almost nailed his foot. Getting onto the ladder. I'm good now.
No, I need that big one.
No, ducky. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave me a comment or two. I will try my best to respond to all of them. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.